right, we're going to welcome our first panel. 3 amazing women who share their journey of motherhood online. They use wonderful online platforms to really share the highs and the lows of motherhood. So our next panel is called Sharing Motherhood Online. Our first speaker is a motherhood influencer and a Tommy's ambassador. She shares her journey of rainbow babies, and she uses a candid approach to discuss pregnancy and motherhood to help others break down stigmas. Please, can we have a round of applause to Katie Bonfall. Wonderful. Our next panelist, she has captivated her audience using social media while she talks about the highs and the lows of motherhood. She has a no-filter approach to sharing the realities of parenting, and she has resonated with thousands of women who also share her humor and her authenticity. Please welcome to the stage, Lauren Wayne. And our final panelist is a content creator, a podcaster, and the voice behind Rhea Ellen podcast. She uses her humor and her open discussion to discuss everything around pregnancy to postpartum experiences. With her candid approach to motherhood, she has built a wonderful, supportive online community. Please, can we have a round of applause to Miss Rhea Ellen. Can we just use the first few minutes to just share a bit about all of you? So, Katie, please just share with our audience today, your story into motherhood and why you're so passionate about using online spaces to help break down stigmas.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this is like so wild. I just want to say thank you to Sandra because she's incredible. I remember speaking at one of her events about maybe 3-4 years ago. 6. Oh, wow, 6. When I was barely dipping my toes into creating content, but I just had a passion for sharing my journey, especially for women that look like me. So basically, when I was 28, I lost my first baby, my first son, on the 9th of March 2017. And then a year later, on the 9th of March 2018, I lost another son. And I was 17 weeks both times. I was in the same hospital, St. Thomas Hospital in Westminster. I was in the same hospital room, and the same nurses looked after me both years. So when they saw me again the year later, even some of them were crying because the fact that they saw me again. So that was literally my entrance into motherhood, which was obviously very sad. I had to give birth to them because I was in the second trimester. And yeah, it literally rocked my world. And yeah, like there was definitely times I didn't think I'd even be here because everything reminded me of the boys that I lost, and I literally felt there was something wrong with me. And so I actually turned to social media, ironically, and I literally would type in hashtag miscarriage, hashtag stillbirth, and I got so much comfort from reading other women's stories. But at the time, obviously, as I said, I was encouraged by them. At the time, most of them were they were basically white women sharing their stories. Okay, woo! Woo! Lord, thank you, Sandra. She gave me the permission. Okay, so basically, they didn't look like me. They were white women, so brave and so fearless in sharing their journey. So I was thinking, where are we? Literally, where are we? And then something said, I think it was God, basically like, why don't you share your journey? And so for a whole year, God was pressing it upon my heart to share that I'd lost babies, but I felt so ashamed about what I had, as in basically the miscarriages that I had gone through, because I literally felt less than a woman. I remember a lot of my friends were pregnant around the same time as me, and their pregnancies were progressing, and it was literally just a painful reminder of the babies that I lost. So I just was like, what's wrong with me? And so literally after the whole year, and thankfully I was actually pregnant with my rainbow baby, so Maximus, who's now 6, who's given me lip every day, but I thank God for him. And so basically, God told me to share it. So I remember I shared, and then I literally turned my phone off because I didn't want to see any comments. And then when I turned my phone on again, the messages from women saying how encouraged they were, that started off my motherhood journey and my content creation journey in sharing that there is life after loss, that you can overcome, and it does get better. You can overcome. So there is hope. That's basically my introduction to motherhood and sharing it online.
You are incredibly brave, Katie. I've always been really inspired by how bold you are about sharing the truth about how you came into motherhood, and you said that it rocked your world. There are so many other women that have gone through what you've gone through, and when they look at your page, they too also can find that comfort and that strength. So thank you again for just being brave, bold, and just listening to God as well. So thank you, Katie. Lauren.
Hey.
I've recently, been watching your page. It's been growing and growing from strength to strength, and I know you have like a raw type of style of content. Is that okay to say?
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah. Please share with our audience today what brought you to using online spaces, but also your journey into motherhood.
Pure accident. I'm sure you can guess. So I'm known as Birth of a Mother online because I literally feel like having my daughter birthed me. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. I can't believe I just said that. Yeah. Bloody hell. Her name's Gabby, and she was a planned baby. I hate that phrase because everything that happened after I pushed her out was unplanned. She was the biggest planned surprise that I've ever had in my life. And I came online one day and I didn't enjoy the newborn stage. I'll be honest with you, when my daughter came, I was like, what the hell? What the helliana? I was so unprepared. And I got past that 6-week phase that, the midwives are waiting for to see if you have got postpartum depression or not. And things did start to pick up, but I was still very much like, what the hell? So I got online one day and just feeling the brunt of the cost of living crisis, particularly. Had her in 2022 when everyone decided that Lurpak can cost £6 for no reason. And I just said, this is motherhood in Britain as a working mum. I'm on mat leave. I think it was £150 at the time. I'd saved for it, but then had the unexpected cost of living crisis. And I'm just like, how are we meant to do it all? How are we meant to do it all? This baby was planned and much wanted, and I'm finding myself complaining every other day. And is there anyone else out there? And there was lots of people. There were so many people out there. And I came online with these really outgrown braids. I did not know that was going to be my moment. I learned a very valuable lesson. I learned so many lessons, but that was my moment. And ever since then, I've been showing up as myself, speaking authentically, sometimes with crust in my eyes. Sometimes I have to work like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm a busy mum at the end of the day. But people are very much accustomed to seeing me and taking me as I am. And I'm so grateful for that. I really am.
Amazing. Thank you, Lauren, for being you. Definitely are an authentic voice online. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Ria, you are funny.
I've
actually been watching you from, I think it's I want to say, is it 10 years?
Don't do that. It's not that long. Have I been doing it that long?
Yeah, a long time ago. The Twitter days, right? And you were so funny then, but just seeing your transition now into motherhood, it's oh my gosh, you're the same person, but you're a different person as well.
I've got kids now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm a little bit more...
Clued up for the...
No, losing it, Sandra. This means not all there.
I know. Share with our audience today your journey into motherhood and how it's changed you, if it has at all.
Wow. So I have 2 boys. If you've got boys, you know it's absolutely crazy on this side. So I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. I had 2 under 2. I'm just trying to just think about where I should start. So my firstborn was, I want to say the perfect... I didn't feel like I was a mum, if that makes sense, at first. I remembered when we went to IKEA and I forgot his baby bag and all I had was just him. I was like, I'm actually a mum. Yeah, this is this is actually crazy. But I mean, like, I didn't really have any like baby blues or anything. I kind of was just getting on with it. But I think looking back, I don't think I kind of gave myself time to kind of deep that I've just had a child, because I feel like when you're seen as like a strong person, and I'm also the firstborn, you're kind of told to like get back out there and go out and do this and do that, when really I should have just stayed in my house. Because why was I outside? He was like 5 days old. He was like strapped to me, and I was like, I've got to go to the shops. And it's like, I didn't need to, do you know what I mean? Like, but I had this idea that like, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm still the same person that I was, but you really aren't, and that's okay. So I got depression when my son was like 10 months, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I remember thinking like, why am I so sad? Like, I don't want to do anything. Like, he's smiling. Oh my God, he's so cute. But I'm feeling so empty. And obviously time passed, he got older, and then we went into lockdown. You know what I mean? And there was just so much happening. Like, we were sometimes at my husband's mum's house, my mother-in-law's house, my mum's house. Like, we were kind of all over the place because of COVID as well. And then obviously, because it's COVID, you're in the house with your husband, you're doing things. And then the second one was born. Yeah. We were giggling, and then we weren't giggling anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because it was like, now we've got 2 boys on. He's actually in the audience. He's probably thinking, here she goes. But yeah, great dad, great husband. But yeah, so that happened. So we had 2 under 2. And I remember bringing my second son home and thinking, what have I done? Like, I'm just being honest. You guys know, like, online, I'm just honest. Yeah. I was like, what have I done? Because I feel like I haven't sorted out what I was going through with my firstborn. I was also breastfeeding. Anyone who's done, like, tried breastfeeding, even if you've done it for 2 days, 4 weeks, 4 years, whatever the case is, it's so hard. And they don't tell you that when you're breastfeeding, it also comes with another hormone, which makes you feel sad. So I remember about to feed and being like, I feel so depressed, like, what is going on? But that's normal. And you used to think like, do I hate being a mum? Like, everyone online saying this is lovely. Like, this is obviously before we had that space where everyone was kind of being honest and stuff about how hard it is. So yeah, I just kind of started doing videos about, I did videos anyway, but I used to just come online and be like, guys, I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying it. And that doesn't take away from the fact that I love my kids. Like, when I say I'll do anything for those kids, like when they drop them to school, I'm like, if you need me, I will come back. You know, just tell me if that friend of yours is doing anything, I'm there for you. Do you know what I mean? So, but it also comes with the hard, like we were just saying, like the roller coaster of emotions, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at you, you're so cute. I want to run away. This is just ridiculous. Oh my God, you're so cute. Oh, they're in bed. Like, it's just a constant roller coaster. So I feel like I needed to come online, especially for the friends that don't have kids yet, just to be like, they're always saying like, Ria, like, I don't know how you do it. You make it look so easy. It's so hard. Like, it's a front if you think that. And that's why I always want to be honest and be like, it's so hard, especially if you're trying to also find yourself again and trying to be outside with friends and trying to find yourself online and trying to grow. And it's hard, but it's doable because we're doing it. We always do it, right?
I love that.
That was
Thank
a tangent,
you.
sorry.
Wow. I've got so many more questions. I might ask one more, but I really want you guys to get involved in the conversation as well. Katie, you spoke about going online and seeing not that many Black women speaking about, baby loss and miscarriage. For you, did you receive any judgment? Did you feel any judgment when you started speaking about, challenges in motherhood or pregnancy? And what did that look like?
So no, I didn't, thankfully. I know I was very pleasantly surprised. But it was actually the comments, the messages that I was getting from women. So the DMs I was getting. So I remember one that sticks out so vividly in my head. There was a lady from Nigeria, and she said that she's just had a miscarriage. I think she was maybe around 20 weeks. And her family have basically, they just want her to move on. they were just like, so she was asking me, like, you could tell the pain through through the DM. She was just like, how do I navigate telling my family I need to grieve? Because they're just rushing me to just move on and hurry up. And like, they didn't see it as a baby, basically. It was just like, just try again. And after my first loss, I kind of went through that. Like family, were kind of like just move on, like so they did say I couldn't attend the funeral, but my family advised that just let it go. It was like, let it go. And so I didn't attend his funeral, the first one, but
didn't go to his funeral.
No, not the first baby that I lost. So the second baby that I lost, I went to his funeral, and they had like a little coffin for him, and so I used it as an opportunity to bury both of them. And I read a poem, like, so it was a great release for me in doing that. So, but honestly, as I shared online, it was like therapy, in the best way. So honestly, those that follow me, like, honestly, guys, thank you so much for just being there and allowing me to share my heart, because it's not easy. But yeah, being able to have that space to do so, I feel has made me a better woman than I was before. So yeah.
And just a follow-up question quickly. I know you're Ghanaian, right? How has that sort of Ghanaian, because I'm Nigerian, the African or just our own community, how do you think, in contrast, they receive women who openly speak about miscarriage? Because I know you added this segment in my book, My Black Motherhood. You spoke about being Ghanaian and the conflict, and also your faith as well.
So I'd say on the whole, it's been positive, but I think it's the older generation that they really struggle with the fact that, you're talking about miscarriage. It's very much like, you don't talk about that, it's very hush-hush. And I remember when I had Maximus, so my oldest, my first rainbow baby, I went to see family, and they overheard me talking about the fact that I've started sharing things online, and they basically kind of shut me down.
They told you off?
In their own way. It was. I did feel like I was being told off, but in their own way. And so I remember I was in tears, because I had just had a baby, so I was very much in the new postpartum phase. And so I remember I literally cried my eyes out to my husband, because he was actually on my husband's side of the family. So it was
no shade,
no shade, but. Honestly, like, it was very difficult to navigate through that. Obviously, trying to be respectful, but at the same time, I was trying to I just wanted to educate as well, So I remember when I lost the first baby, like I said, I was advised to, just let it go. And so one of the people that said that was my mum, And so, okay, don't cry. But it's fine. I think I'm not. These lashes are staying on, honey. So I think I'm trying to like pull it back. But yeah, so my mum, she's one of the people that did say that, but she did confide in me like afterwards, saying that was a teachable moment for her, because she said that seeing me like that, and also she got to hold my baby as well. She realised that wasn't the right course of action. I think she was just going off of what she was told or what she saw as well from the Ghanaian community, and obviously like relatives and uncles, and you just kind of go with what you're used to, isn't it? So she actually thanked me for teaching her just a new perspective on the fact that you do need to grieve. Like, if you do have if you do lose a baby, it could be weeks. Doesn't matter if it's how far along you are in the pregnancy. Like, you have lost a baby and you need time to grieve. And so that's something that my mum, she thanked me, and she said that, she's happy that I was able to teach her that, so.
I love that. She's definitely a different Ghanaian woman, definitely different type of African woman, because not many of our parents are willing to learn. And I see her often with you at events as well, supporting. Yes. So she's definitely has come around.
She actually joined social media. She asked me to create an Instagram account just so that she could support me.
Wow.
And like my videos, and she reposts. She was like, I've reposted. I'm like, Mum, thank you. Yeah, she knows about the engagement, so,
I love that.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Amazing.
Exactly. It's important to have a supportive support system around you and community, because it's not easy. It takes a village, and it really, really does, It
does. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you so much for sharing that. Lauren, I see you post a lot and very frequent, but you don't post your child.
Nope.
Question number one is, how do you balance sort of sharing yourself, being authentic, but also holding that aspect to you when your brand is motherhood, right? Motherhood.
Yeah, it's really tricky because people are intrigued, aren't they? They want to know, like, who is this mystery child? You say you've got a child, but we don't see her. Like, what does she even exist? And I just want to start by saying, it's a very kind of contentious issue about posting your child online. So I'm not trying to spark any controversy, especially tonight, of all nights. And it wasn't always that way. So when I was first using social media, not in a way of a position of a content creator, but as someone as a consumer of content, I actually did have a picture, a video of my child before I started posting regularly. When I realised that I was going to start sharing more about my personal life, particularly about my relationship with my mother, cultural differences, things that have happened, you know, when I speak about mental health, depression and all the rest of it, I kind of realised that lowered the entry point between people who watch me and people consume me and people who want to get to know me. So if I'm going to be more personable and open, I have to be wary about my boundaries and the boundaries in regards to my child. So one of the things I kind of decided to do quite earlier on is to kind of take her out the equation, if that made sense, and not have my page just focus on my child and my child development, because actually a lot of what was going on was to do with me and was to do with my identity. And in the beginning stages, I spoke a lot about how having my daughter has shifted my perspective on my relationship with my own mum. So it wasn't, motherhood is about our children, of course it is, but it's just as much about them as it is about us. Nowadays, you'll hear her in the background, you might see the back of her head or a little arm or whatever. And I do that deliberately because I want you to know, like, I am booked, I'm busy, like, I'm a mum, do you know what I mean? But my focus isn't about my daughter, if that made sense. Although without her, I wouldn't be here, if that makes sense. So it is tricky. I love watching other people's children online, I'll be honest. Like, I get so invested, but it's just a distraction that I don't need. And also, I think there's a lot of pressure, like, with your child. I know that I will go to jail for my child. Yeah. So rather than her be a liability to me, let me just take her out of the equation, because I will sit in jail for her, no problem. Do you know what I mean? People can be very unboundaried about your child's appearance, their head. Like, I don't want to hear it. So for me, it's to do with my mental health, basically.
I love that. Thank you so much, Lauren. Ria, you share raw motherhood as well. You're very open. There are many women in here who might want to share their journey into motherhood, but they feel a little bit shy or a bit intimidated or afraid of sharing all aspects. Even me, when I share my journey, I'm like, actually, I don't want to say that part. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to use online social media platforms to speak up, but hasn't yet got the confidence to do it?
That's a really good question. I think we care too much. I think we really care too much about what everyone thinks. No one actually cares. No, if you actually think about it, like, even if you saw a pig fly outside, okay, you're going to tell a couple of people and then you're going to go to sleep. And then you're just going to move on. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think we care so much about what, like, people think, or how am I going to be perceived, but it's like, not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to love what you're saying. Not everyone's going to agree, but that's not your audience, and that's okay. Like, you will find your audience, but they're not going to come in your house. You've got to put yourself out there to be able for people to see you. And for me, it's therapy. It's actually free therapy. Because after I've done a video, I'm like, I can go about my day. Because I've just released like the frustration of the day or whatever the case is. And it's really, I just think it's just not that deep. But I do understand why people don't want to, because it's kind of like, sometimes if you put yourself out there, you feel like you can't take yourself out. Do you know what I mean? But you can. You actually can. You can take as many breaks as you want. You can, and I know there's people who get paid online, like that's their bag and stuff like that. But I think if your mental's not good, take yourself out of it. Stop scrolling, go read a book, read the Bible, something. But yeah, I just think just don't overthink it and have a plan as well, and do content that you enjoy, because then it starts to become like a chore. Like, oh, I've got to do, let's say, I don't know, an outfit of the day, and I actually hate how I look today. So just don't do that. Do something else. Do something that's easy for you. Like when I first started doing YouTube, my husband used to edit everything for me, intros, everything, and then he became really busy, and I was thinking I need to think of a plan where I can do it. Yeah. So like if I do it on my phone and I find CapCut, I'm so good on CapCut, you should see me. I'm just like cutting it, splitting it, do you know what I mean? But so now it's like gone to a point where I can do it myself. So it's like less pressure rather than thinking, oh, I've got content sitting there, but my husband's at a shoot and it's like, oh, I'm not putting out content. But it's like, I could put out content. It doesn't need to look perfect. Because what is perfect? And sometimes you'll sit and you'll set up the lights and you'll be like, guys, I'm ready, I've got makeup on. You'll get 1 like. Of course, don't get me wrong, it's not about likes and views. No, do you know what I mean? But you think, I've taken 4 hours to mentally prepare myself to sit down to do this, and it's not getting what I want. And then you'll get the one where, when Laura's saying you get crust in your eye, that one goes viral. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't tell which one will go viral or people will love. You just have to put it out there. And just kind of like, put it out there because you want to put it out there. And stop thinking, I need to put it out at 8 a.m. because that person put it out at 8 a.m. Just drop the content. Clear your drafts. Stop like overthinking it. That's my advice.
We're going to take a few questions. Does anyone have any questions to Ria, Katie, or Lauren? Your hand shot straight up.
This is a vulnerable moment for me, guys, but similar situation happened to me 3 years ago, what happened to Katie, and the same thing I did. I scrolled on social media, I searched the hashtags, I saw white women until I saw Katie, and I messaged Katie, and she messaged me back straight away, and I just want to say thank you. And not only did she message me back, she checked in on me again after. And it was the hardest time of my life. My sister knows, but I've got through. I have my rainbow baby, I have my little girl. And it's crazy because every time I speak to anyone about what I went through, I speak about Katie, right? And I'm like, she helped me through it. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to say thank you, because I'm sure you get so many DMs, and the fact that you responded and also checked back in after meant the world to me and still does till today. But now that, you know, we're out on the other end and we've got rainbow babies and it's beautiful and it's happy, just for people that have gone through loss, and I know you said your son's about 6, how do you still honour your babies that you've lost as time goes on? Because I feel like with time you forget in general everything, and time goes on and you heal. How do you honour them? That's my question.
First of all, wow. I'm very taken aback by just your bravery, the fact that you've even come, the fact that you've been so bold in sharing, you know, what you've gone through. And yeah, that we had that connection, because I think that's the beautiful thing about social media, is that even though it's it's online, it's actually real people, and I think we actually forget that. And so yeah, sis, it's so lovely to meet you in person. I'm gonna hug you afterwards, okay? But yeah, honestly, honouring my boys, I feel like when you've lost a baby, like this, it changes you. And you don't, like, even though the world does move on, and even though we have our like rainbow babies, I'm so happy that, did you say you have one? I'm so happy that God blessed you with your rainbow baby. But I think the world views that as like a replacement, which is far from the truth. Like, it's not a replacement. Every baby is unique and different. And I feel like so, like I said, obviously I lost my babies on the same day, a year apart. So I do like to, for now, I've actually been doing I do like a video to kind of celebrate their birthday. Because obviously my other babies that are, that are alive, I do, when it's their birthday, I'll do like a birthday post. So I'm just like, that's what I like to do for them as well. So on the 9th of March, I would do like a little like birthday post just to say happy birthday to them. But honestly, I just remember them like every single day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Joram, which was my first son, and Shiloh is my second son. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about them, and I take them with me. Even though obviously people like to say, yeah, like move on. I'm just like, no, I'm not. I haven't moved on. I've taken them with me. So I actually see even though I've got 3 boys, I've got 3 rainbow babies, 6, 3, and 1. But I see myself as a mum of 5. I've got 5 boys. So I think as mums, as angel mums, I think it's so unfair that the world doesn't, just because they don't see your babies, it means that they don't see you as a mum. And I think that's so cruel. Because I remember when I left the hospital after losing, especially the first baby, I got into the lift with my husband, and there was a pregnant woman leaving the hospital, and there was also a lady with her newborn baby in the lift with us. And I was like, this is so cruel. I was like, why me, God? And even when I came out the lift, I just saw everyone just living life like normal, and I was so angry. But honestly, God gave me so much comfort in the period after the losses, and it gets easier. It does get easier. And yeah, like I said, I take them with me. And if you have lost a baby, take them with you, and they will give you comfort. They will give you peace, and they'll make you stronger. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, sis. And I'm so proud of you. I'm honestly so proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you to Katie as well for pregnancy after loss, all your support, posting online and being vulnerable about it as well. I have a little boy that's just slightly younger than Lucius, so I was able to track just the progress with your pregnancy, and having the cervical stitch really encouraged me as well and made me just less afraid about the whole journey. So I really want to say thank you for being vulnerable with that. My question, thank you to all the panelists. This is an amazing event. My question is for Rhea. You mentioned about how you are a firstborn. I'm not the first, I'm the last, but I fall into a category of people that you call high-functioning lastborns. So you want to do everything. So similar to you, 5 days after my baby was born, I was going to Tesco with my baby carrier, trying to do everything for everyone. Felt a lot of pressure to make sure that I wasn't leaving my friends out of the journey. And yeah, that was a lot. So my question is, how do you pick that high-functioning spirits and just put it down for a second and tend to yourself?
Very good question. For me, I feel like I constantly learn the hard way. Like, I reach burnout and I'm like, I should probably sit down. But then I'm just trying to say, like, Rhea, that doesn't need to be done right now. Like, there's always going to be washing in every single room. There's always going to be washing to be done. So I'm just learning just to leave things and just go and sit down, make a cup of tea that's actually hot with biscuits, because mentally you'll just literally just drive yourself into the ground, because even if you get to the bottom of the dirty clothes basket, everyone is dressed. Everyone is dressed. So when everyone takes off all those clothes, that's another load. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, and even stuff like cleaning the toilet and the bathroom, and like doing like a deep clean in my boys' room. Listen, it's never ever going to be as clean as I want it to be until they're like 18 and move out. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just learning like to just stop waiting till burnout, to actually just sit down and just take some time for myself. And also just knowing that like I'm a different mum in different occasions. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like, everyone's having a home-cooked meal and, you know, everyone's going to eat their grapes and everything. And then next is like super noodles. Yeah. And we're doing Uber Eats for the 3rd time this week because I can't come and kill myself. Like, and my kids love beige food, so it's perfect. Goes hand in hand.
Perfect, love that.
And our final question for this panel.
Unsolicited advice and balancing it. Because some days I'm like, no, like, don't confess that over my life. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes someone says something and you're like, oh my gosh, that worked. And I think just before I gave birth, my husband was like, just charge it. Like, just let the aunties in church tell you what they want to tell you and charge it. And I was like, it's going to my heart. Like, it's actually coming to my heart. And I can hear in all of you a level of balance now. And how does one get there without kind of trying to shut down everyone? But then not just that you'll know your baby, because every day my child changes. Like, she's 7 months. Like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? So how do you get that balance of just filtering good wisdom, not taking things personal, the friends that are not in your situation, not like, so one of my friends has not checked on my baby, and I'm just like, when the first birthday comes, she will never see this child. But come on, like, do you know what I mean? Like, balance, you know? So I said a lot without saying too much. Okay, I've stopped. I'm going to stop.
Thank you, Sinead. I'm going to pose that question to Lauren. How do you balance?
There is no balance. It literally, when I first had Gabby, I was so sensitive to every piece of advice that I got, to the point where I was taking advice from anyone, from the person in Superdrug to the internet to my auntie. And there was times where I really wanted advice, and there was times where I couldn't take it anymore. And I will say is the older that Gabby gets, the less I feel like that, the more confident I feel. So sometimes I get advice and it just doesn't sit well. You know, when someone tells you something like, yeah, that's not for me, and I can just leave it. So I'm a lot more kind of confident at knowing what's for me and my child and what's just not for me. I very much see myself as a student of motherhood, right? So I'm always open for learning. Not all teachers are great though, that's the only thing. But what I will say is sometimes the best advice has come from the really unexpected places. Yeah. Single friends with no children. That was a shocker. I was like, I don't want to hear from you. You don't know what's up. Well, actually, you know, because everyone has been parented. Does that make sense? Everyone has that experience of being a child. So I think it's all about feeling confident enough in yourself to know that you're not going to accept any and every advice, okay? And also knowing that there is a season where you can embrace and there's a season where you just can't. And I think in experience, you do grow in confidence in knowing what's for you, for sure.
Thank you guys so much for taking part in this wonderful panel discussion. You guys have been phenomenal, incredible. Honestly, thank you guys just for sharing your authentic, unfiltered journey. And if you could just give one advice to any mum today, please, very short, just share one piece of advice for our audience today.
This is actually going to be very random. Ladies, please do your pelvic floor muscles. Exercises. Pelvic floor exercises. Yeah. Because, I've been dealing with some issues, but let's just say, and so I went to the GP and she was rummaging down there, as they do, and she said that I've got a weak pelvic floor. So she said I need to do the exercises, the Kegels. So very random, but I was just like, it's important, and my ladies need to know. So
do your Kegels,
please. It's important, even if you haven't had a baby. Even you need to. It's important to for our health.
Every time I see.
Okay.
Thank you, Katie. Lauren, one piece of advice.
My piece of advice would be that having you time is not selfish. Yeah. I think that when you become a mum, there is this expectation that you are just a mum and you were you before you were a mum. So take the time that you need. And, it's very hard to switch off when you have a child. Don't I know it? Thinking about her right now. But you deserve it. Yeah.
Beautiful. You deserve you time. Now, Rio?
Oh, gosh. It's not really advice, but I think no matter what, you're going to be okay. I think sometimes you go, like, I've been through stuff when the kids were baby, and I was like, I'm literally never going to get through this. But you do. You find a way. I think advice, I think just going off what Lauren said, just taking time for yourself. I mean, for me, I don't believe in mom guilt because I'm doing everything and anything, even when my cup is empty, I'm giving my last drop to these kids. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if I need to take a weekend away on my own or with my husband, it's what I need. And the kids are actually got to a point now where they're like, Mommy, where are you going? Like, they're actually intrigued, like, that I'm going out and I've actually got makeup on and I'm not in the stained leggings that I always am in the house. Do you know what I mean? So they see it and they get excited for me. Like, even when I do my nails, my youngest will be like, oh, Mommy, what color did you get? What color? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's for you. Like, you need it. Otherwise, you can't give anything to anyone else if your cup is empty. So
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for Katie, Lauren, and Ria. Really, really excited about this panel because they are all so inspirational. If you thought the first panel were amazing, the second panel equally as amazing as well. So the first panelist is the co-host of the hugely popular The Receipts podcast. She is a new-ish mother who shares her journey online. Please give a round of applause for Audrey. Our second panelist is one half of the powerhouse behind the Cabs family. Their YouTube channel and social media have amassed millions and millions and millions of views. And as a mother to 3 children, she documents her family lives online with realness. Thank you, guys, and please welcome to Shan. And our final panelist is an award-winning content creator, speaker, aka pastor, who is also a Cambridge graduate with a following of over 140,000 across her platforms. Please give a round of applause to Nissy Tee. She's not a pastor, I'm joking, guys. Okay. We'll get on to that, actually. Okay. So, Audrey, could you just please share with our audience, I'm sure everyone knows who you are by now, but if you could just share a bit about your journey into motherhood and how it possibly changed you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been very vocal about my journey into motherhood because it wasn't necessarily the most straightforward one. I, for a long time, I knew I wanted to be a mum, but I couldn't decipher whether it was something that had been conditioned into me or whether it was something I truly wanted. And so in 2020, my husband and I separated, and I talk about this on the podcast all the time. 2020 was a hard time, child. And during that separation, I actually used that time to really interrogate what I wanted out of life, because I was living kind of in a single way for a little bit, and I was enjoying myself. I could come and go as I pleased. I didn't have to worry about coming home to a messy house or someone eating my cheesecake. Like, I was living my best single life, and I thought to myself, I'm actually really quite enjoying this. Like, do I want to have kids and do the family thing? And is this something that's just been something that's I've just been conditioned to want, as opposed to something that I truly want for myself? But then in that time, I realised I actually really wanted it. And so also during that time, I decided to take a fertility MOT, because as an African woman, you tell your mum that you're separating from your husband at 35. It was not easy at all, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was ticking over down there. So I actually did the fertility MOT. The results came back as positive as what they can be. And I said to myself, actually, I genuinely do really want this. And then my husband and I figured it out. We got back together, thank God. And then, we figured it out. And then a year later, our daughter was born. Yeah.
And how have you changed since becoming a mother? I'm going to go on to you, Shan, soon, but how have you changed since that period of living that single kind of life to actually now you're a mum, and what's changed about you as a whole?
Do you know what? My mantra always used to be that the child is coming into my life. You know, I'm not going into hers. But as I've gotten deeper into my motherhood journey, I've realised that's actually not true. And I think that so often you want to tell yourself that you can very much be an individual, which you can and you should be, by the way. I'm not advocating that you can't be, but motherhood for me has been a huge part of who I am. And I think it's changed me for the better. Like, it's made me so much more patient. It's just made me
like seeing the world through her eyes is like my favorite thing to do. Like I can just literally sit and watching her play is my favorite thing to do. And I just think it's made me softer. It's made me calmer. I think it's actually made me appreciate my marriage more. It's made me appreciate my husband. Seeing him in this light, in his daddy bag, is actually brought us like so much closer together. And so honestly, motherhood has been my favorite era. I think the number one thing that people say to me all the time, just off my socials, is that I make motherhood look like fun. Yeah. And it really is fun. Like like what you see is what you get. Like we're always having the best time. Yeah.
Shan. Hey girl.
Hello, how are you?
I love how honest and open you are on social media about your family. You've been posting your family life for a long time, really. Tell our audience about your journey into motherhood and how it's changed from your first daughter right down to your third child.
My journey into motherhood was honestly scary. I was only 18, so I don't like to use the word accident. But it was not planned. That's what I'd say. So it was very humbling, very scary. I was nervous. I had no clue of what was ahead of me. So yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. I'd say that.
And at 18, obviously, as a teenager, you're quite young. You're just figuring things out. How did you believe your family and your friends sort of took to this new Shan, who's now obviously a teenage mum?
In all honesty, I think I had such a great support system in terms of my mum and my husband's family. So I don't think I felt it until I was like maybe a year in, when I kind of looked around and was like, oh my God, like everyone's gone off and done their own thing and I'm just kind of left behind. That's how it felt. So yeah, I think that was my main feeling towards it at the time.
Thank you, Shan. We're going to get more into that in a second. Nissy Tee.
Hey, girl.
Hey, lovely. You are also, I would call you a new mum.
Yes.
Can you just share with the audience your journey into motherhood and if it has changed you at all?
Yeah. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you, Sandra. I always like to give honor where honor is due. This platform and this room, can I just say what you've done? Like even listening to the initial panelists. Yeah, honestly, can we give her a round of applause? Like seriously, guys. Like this woman is amazing, and I just really like respect and honor. I don't take it lightly when people bring me onto their platform. So thank you. And listening to the other ladies, so inspiring. But I would say that my journey was actually very similar to Audrey. I loved my life pre-having my son, as in I was traveling. So, my bio is kind of long, guys, but I'll give you like the short synopsis. So started off, doing content, but didn't really take it too seriously. Then went into the corporate world, worked in there for a whole 11 months, guys. Yeah, long time, I know. Did a 9-to-5 for a whole 11 months and I realized this is not for me. And I said, this is the ghetto. No offense to anyone that does a 9-to-5, God bless you. But for me, I just couldn't do it. So left. Then on the other side of the 9-to-5, I then decided to start kind of building my platform, etc. Then dabbled in like different businesses, and I started businesses, dissolved them, started businesses, dissolved them. Then fast forward when I then came to a point where myself and my husband got married in 2020 during the pandemic. And my husband is the type of person, he loves children. Like when I tell you he loves children, he's the type of person every Sunday at church, he was always carrying somebody else's child. And I'll be asking, so whose child is this now that you've now bought? Every day carrying, and he's a really big guy. He's 6'6", big guy. So he would always be holding these babies and just look so comfortable. And anyone that's read an ebook that I wrote not too long ago, My Journey to Motherhood, I explained in there how he really wanted children, but I didn't.
Wow.
I really didn't. And I thought I did. Before I got married, before everything, I really thought I did. And again, coming from an African community, that is almost like unheard of. Like, what do you mean you don't want children? Do you know children are a blessing? How dare you? Coming from that household. But I really didn't, because I loved my life. I loved the life that myself and my husband created. We traveled so much. 2022, we literally went to like 9 different countries in the year. We were living our best life. I was being flown out to go and speak at banks and all of these incredible horrible things were happening. And I just didn't see how a child was going to fit into all of that. And if I'm being completely honest, I was quite selfish. I felt as though I don't want to sacrifice. That's just my reality. And then it wasn't until, kind of similar to Katie's story, fast forward, I then had a miscarriage as well in 2023, which I touch on, I share again in my ebook, and I've shared a bit about it online, but it's encouraged me to definitely share more, hearing some of the ladies and where there's a gap as well. But I had a miscarriage in 2023, and the irony of it is that I begged God not to take my baby. I remember being on the floor. I remember it was August 2023. We just come back from Dallas because there was a church conference. We just come back, and then I started bleeding, and we went to the doctors and they said, everything looks okay, but come back in a couple of weeks and we'll make sure and see what happens after that. And it was 2 weeks, the hardest 2 weeks of my entire existence. And I remember sitting on the floor crying and begging God, please, God, I know that I said what I said before, but please don't take this child. But unfortunately, on the 8th of September, 2023, we then found out that we had miscarried. And then it wasn't until that moment that I realized how much I actually did want it. And then when that then happened, I then got pregnant again, thank God, by the end of 2023, so in December of 2023. But then I didn't get to enjoy the initial period because of the fear that then came. Because now you're always anxious, like, am I going to look at my underwear and I'm going to see blood again? Am I going to, is this baby really, like, I know, God, you can do it. I'm a woman of faith, so yes, I do preach a little bit, guys. I do apologize. I know that he gives us the desires of our heart, but I was really saying, but God, what if it's not your will? And it wasn't until I got to a place where I finally said, you know what, God, I'm going to let go. And whatever you decide you are going to do, you are going to do. And when I finally got to that place, made peace with it, everything just started kind of naturally happening and whatnot. I was definitely sick throughout my entire pregnancy. My son, everyone thought it was a girl because I was so sick. Oh, that boy finished me during pregnancy. But then that's when I also pivoted and then went into insurance. And now I'm an insurance specialist, which was the best decision ever. But that's kind of my story into it. I went from not wanting to have children, desperately begging God not to take my baby away, having a miscarriage, then being blessed with another one, and now being in this beautiful, beautiful space. So, yeah.
Thank you both all for just sharing your journey into motherhood. You're truly inspiring. And I just love how you've kind of just brought your realness to the online spaces. Similar to Lauren, Audrey, I would say, even though you're very outspoken and very bold and courageous, and you definitely share your journey online, you have an element of privacy as well, which I really love and respect. How do you find that balance between knowing, okay, I want to share this aspect, but not that aspect of my journey into motherhood?
Yeah, no, totally. Similar with Nissy, actually. I had a really horrible pregnancy. And so I didn't enjoy it at all. I was very, very sick, like, the whole time. And so the pregnancy part, I knew that I wasn't going to share that at all until I felt more confident. And then I did do the big reveal and stuff when I was 7 months, I think. But in terms of finding that balance, also, you guys are going to get some inside tea. So basically, I thought that I was going to share. That I never had an issue with people sharing their children, especially because of the platform that I have and how open I'd been. I think by the time I found out I was pregnant, it was actually pretty much close to the year that before, or 2 years, that I'd said on the podcast about my journey and about getting my eggs checked and all the rest of it. And then 2 years later, my daughter was here. And so I always planned on sharing that with our listeners and the people that follow me. But then we hit a bump in the road when Milena left and all the rest of it. And it was actually quite a scary time for us. And so for me, that made me very protective. And then I decided from that point on that I wouldn't share so much, or I'd be very selective about what I did put out there pertaining to, like, just motherhood and my daughter especially. So I think having something, when something hits you online, it kind of just, I don't know, it just steered me in a completely different direction. But up until that point, I would have been posting her face up and down. I think it's a very complicated thing. I think Lauren was talking about it as well. When you are a visible person, and especially when you're a visible person like me, where you share so much of your life, it feels almost unfair to, like, not share this aspect. And then also there's a part of you that wants to, because I think as mums, we're naturally proud. Like, we all look at our kids and we want to, but unfortunately the world isn't kind. And then I think that obviously their protection and stuff always has to trump everything. So I think I found a nice balance. I mean, I I didn't post her face for a long time, but you always saw my child. Like, you always saw the back of her head. Like, Tolly would be like, girl, you've basically posted all of her face now. Like, you might just post her kind of thing. But it was very implied, or like sort of illusions of her. And I think that works because I want to share this side of my life. It takes up so much of my life. It's like a huge part of who I am now. But at the same time, I want to maintain her privacy and just her protection, more so from dangerous people, more than anything. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Audrey. And I guess a similar question to you as well, Shan. Obviously, we've all seen your kids online. You post them. How do you balance, if you have any sort of private side to your family life, how do you balance sharing and showing versus keeping, if you do that at all?
To be honest, initially, this wasn't where I saw myself, like posting my family. It was something that it took a lot of convincing from my husband to do. I'm quite private and I'm quite quiet, where he's the complete, if you know Tay, he's the complete opposite of me. So it took a while. In the beginning, it was just him and Tasia. So I was kind of like the only viewer at the time. So I found it so interesting. I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Post it on Facebook, let our family see it. But again, that's what my initial thought of it would be, like, oh, this is for our family to watch. So when it started to pick up, in all honesty, I was very worried and I was kind of pulling back on it. But then once we hit the pandemic and then we were sharing things, everyone was kind of online at that time, everyone was talking, and we'd get messages where people are like, oh my, just the beautiful messages that we'd get in the DMs made me think, oh, you know what, maybe it's not all bad. Because there are certain people that are looking at our content and finding joy, they're finding laughter. I think for some people, we were quite a big distraction during a really difficult time. So I think that it changed my mind a little bit, just seeing the positive impact that we were having in people's homes.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I didn't even answer your question. The boundary side of it, I'd say we do not share. Our motto in our house is, if it makes you laugh, share it. If it makes you cry, keep it at home.
Wow.
We do not share it. Yeah, so.
Because I was going to have a follow-up question, to be fair, and to say that your family definitely gives off good vibes, positive energy, dancing, singing, clapping, and we don't see the crying, the
main
tears.
thing, but the thing is, we do share if they're like having a tantrum, the things that people can relate to. But if it's personal, no, it stays at home. I don't allow my children to think that the world is their friend. You have to keep some things close to your heart. Not everyone needs to know every single thing about you. But our channel is there for entertainment purposes. It's not there for people to, dive and pick and find out our deepest, darkest secrets. That's not what we came online for. So if people don't respect it, then, they're not our community. And if they do, they're here and they've been there and are still here now.
Same question for you, Nissy. I feel like you're quite honest online as well. You definitely show the fun side, but you also show the raw side as well, maybe the crying side as well. And just like alluding to what Ria said earlier, that, no one really cares, Do you feel that same way, or are you more sort of like, I'm going to keep this element to myself?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of in both aspects. I would definitely say that I do share. I believe that vulnerability is a superpower, and I believe that it does. Like, for example, the ladies that came up here and that were sharing their stories and sharing what they've gone through, that encouraged somebody else, that raised somebody else, that allowed somebody who might be sitting at the back, who is, going through their pain and their hardship in silence, to just have a moment of like, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. So I really do believe in being vulnerable, in being honest, in sharing. But I also do believe that I share what I want to share. And again, I think very similar to what you just said as well. It's if people respect it, then great. If you don't have to be here. I'm so sorry, but there are so many people on social media. Maybe I'm not the one for you. Okay? And that's okay. And I think once you get to that place of comfortability within yourself, where you're like, this is as much as I want to give. And similar again to Audrey, I didn't share that I was pregnant until I was about 7 months pregnant. even though I always thought that I would. I always thought that I would really like be, guys, it's happening, I'm pregnant. Because I'd shared so much, literally some people have followed me since I was at Cambridge, since I was on Backchat. Anyone remember those days?
Yes.
They're ratchet days. There's a ratchet day, but I love it. But people have followed me for a long time from when I was young and I was in their living room in debates and discussions. So again, there's a part of you that almost feels like, but I owe it to you. But then you always have to remember as the creator that you create whatever you want. If you believe that this is a boundary and you do not want to share it, that is fine. And for me, like I said, I'm a woman of faith, so I'm always going to talk about God and I'm always going to talk about Jesus. I'm sorry. But I also pray. I will ask God, do you want me to post this thing or not? Is this appropriate? Is this the right time? Is it okay for me to post? Yes or no? And as long as I get confirmation from my God, I'm fine.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Well, we've heard from our amazing panelists. Now we want to hear from you guys. Are there any questions to Audrey, Shan, or Nissy Tee?
No, my question is, so all you ladies are really busy. Like you're constantly, showing up online, showing up as mothers and all of that jazz. One question I would ask was, how do you juggle it all? Like, what do your days look like when you have to kind of like get to a talk like this? Like, yeah, that's my question. Is that good? Yeah, that's the question.
Yes. Audrey, would you like to answer that? Sorry, you're so funny. I can laugh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really big on utilising my village. Like, I think when you have a baby for the first time, it's kind of hard to do that handover thing because you want everything done in your own way and your own style, and mum knows best and you've got your own systems and stuff. But I had to learn quite early on to be able to delegate. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get things done. And I went back to recording quite soon after I had her. So I had no choice. But like, that's the number one thing. I definitely utilise my village. Like, I trust my husband with my daughter. Like, there's no, like, I couldn't be married to someone that I couldn't fully hand over to, because otherwise what you married to them for? Do you know what I mean? So he's amazing. Like, he knows her routine and he's involved in every conversation so that I can do that handover and feel very comfortable. Same with my mum. I'm really lucky to have my mum. So my mum has an eye on recording days when I'm in the studio. But yeah, I try to be very organised. I used to be a PA before I started doing the podcast full time. So my organisational skills are on 100. So I'm very organised. I plan everything. I like to have everything laid out the night before. It just makes me feel better to know that like my day is sort of like planned and scheduled and organised. So yeah, but I'd say my number one thing is like utilising that village. And actually recently I was in a bit of a rut because I had something to go to. It was like a filming thing and it was a big thing and I didn't want to miss it and I had no childcare. And then I remembered, actually I can use my friends. Like when they planned my baby shower, they promised to be there through thick and thin. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, if I trust my girls implicitly and I can, they are people that I consider family, then I should be able to leave my daughter with them for a couple of hours so I can go to work. And so I had to call on one of my best friends and she came through, she worked from the house, looked after Anai so I could go do my thing for a couple of hours and it was so helpful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Another question, and that's okay, and then we're going to...
Hey, my name's Ray. Shan, we spoke briefly outside. Like you, I had my eldest daughter when I was 18, and I did share some of my sort of journey. But how do you feel like you've shown up as a mother, when you first had your oldest daughter compared to, your younger two?
Yeah, good question.
With my oldest, I felt like I had something to prove because I was only 18. I was like, okay, everyone who said anything about me, you watch. I'm going to do this properly. So I was very... I think I would say hyper independent, where I wanted to do everything by myself. I wanted to do everything right. I wanted to finish uni. I wanted to do everything. And I think that made me very organized, very structured. And if anything, it's kind of taught my daughter to do the same, because when I see her now, she's very organized, very structured. And then the last two, I think I've relaxed a little bit. She does say that now. I never would have got away with that. But I think now I'm able to enjoy and kind of like sway in motherhood, where my husband's there, my mum's there. I have nothing to prove to anyone again. I don't even know why I thought I had something to prove before. But now I'm just kind of like, yeah, I've got this. I'm doing it. They're fine. They're alive. We're happy. I'm okay. I don't take things too personally as well. Before, I used to take everything so personally. If someone said something, I'm like, oh, it's because I'm young. That's why I didn't know this. Whereas now I'm like, no. At every stage or every age, you're going to get something wrong. So I think now I'm a lot more confident in my parenting. So that's my answer.
Another question at the end. Priscilla.
So Nissy, you balance like a lot of like hats, similar to me. I feel like you do like a content creating, full-time jobs, different things all over the place. And I wanted to know, and you're also a mother as well. I'm a mum of 2. So I wanted to know like what kind of tips do you have for like balancing all of those? Because I find sometimes I have burnout, and I'm quite good at self-care. I'm really good at self-care, but I feel like I struggle to sometimes balance all my different hats, and I'm thinking maybe let go of one or not, but then I'm like, no, I really like this. So like, how do you kind of balance all of that? That was my question.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a good question. I think the first thing though, I always tell people I don't believe in balance. I know that some people might be like, oh my gosh, how could you? But I genuinely just don't think that balance exists, because balance is supposed to define like this perfect equilibrium. And that just doesn't happen, especially if you're highly ambitious and you're somebody that really wants to achieve their goals. Like I am that person. I am like, I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to build back home in Congo. I'm going to do, like, I am that person that I will do everything, and I will do it because I know I can. Right. But I also recognize that it's not all going to happen all at one time. And I think that's something that I struggled with, even before having my son, to be fair. I struggled with that for a very long time, where I tried to do everything all at once. So I don't believe that balance exists. I just believe in prioritizing. What do I need to prioritize in the season that I am currently in? Like in this season of my life, I can't go as ham as I used to back in the day, where I'm literally going like no sleep, like go next, instead of club or whatever, no sleep. It was just work, no sleep. I know that I need to sleep, otherwise I'm gonna look at this boy and I'm gonna want to throw him in the bin, which we don't condone throwing kids in the bin. But I will look at my kid and want to do that. So I recognize that I'm in a different season, and so I adapt according to the season that I am in. Another thing that I would also say as well, something that a really good friend of mine actually, Diamond, who has 5 kids, Congolese babe, because I'm Congolese too, so absolutely love her. But Diamond, who by the way needs to be here, next one that you have, she has 5 children, not 1, not 2, 5 guys, and she does it so beautifully. But she said something to me. I asked her the same thing, like, how do you do it? She said, by micromanaging the micromanaging. So just like yourself, she is super organized. So she plans everything in advance. So she's like, okay, if I know that I need to be X place, I'm going to make sure that I plan to the plan, to the plan, to the down to the what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, what you're going to do. And I think that's how you have to be if you are highly ambitious and if you want to wear many hats. You don't have to, but I do, Like I said, I qualified as an insurance broker not too long ago, so I do that. That's kind of like my 9 to 5 now. I'm a content creator. I'm a speaker. I travel. I had a speaking engagement on Monday. I had another speaking engagement today. I have a child. I had to go and drop him off. Guys, I was having a breakdown in the car because traffic in London, the ghetto, you're fighting. There's so much going on, but I truly do believe that, again, God gives you the grace. It says in scripture that his grace is sufficient. I believe that his grace is sufficient for me, and that everything that he's put in my heart to do, he will give me the strength to do it, because he didn't give me the vision for no reason. But
can we get an amen?
Sorry, I had to take it. I can't help it.
Don't apologize. Do not apologize. Any other questions? Yes, at the front here, and then second one at the back.
I'm a business owner, and I'm still rocking with my 9 to 5, and I've got a little boy. But no one talks about how to parent at different points of your cycle. When I'm coming up to that time of the month, I be losing my right. So, do you have any wisdom, tips? You probably never thought about it, because I only thought about it a few weeks ago. But I feel like it's something that loads of people go through, and we don't really talk about it. And I think that it's something that we should open a conversation about, because I'm at my wit's end.
Audrey.
As in menstrual cycle? Yeah. Okay, just double checking. Do you know what? I'll be so honest. I just have to get on with it.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You know, like when you've been having periods for so long, and also I'm very fortunate. Like I'm not someone who struggles with like PMS or anything like that. Okay, so I don't. It's something that comes and then I crack on. So I don't really have any emotional changes or anything like that attached to my cycle. So I don't know that I'm the best person to take this one.
So for me, I struggle with irritability. Like I get very irritated quite easily, but on the flip side, I'm a very communicative parent. So my children, I apologize probably more than what I need to. And I think it's about rectifying where you've gone wrong. So if you've been snappy, I will really quickly realize, okay, you know what, I'm so sorry, Mum, I did not mean to say that. And I think they just, like you said, they're getting on with it now. So, and I think that's only as I'm getting older. I don't know if it's maybe the fact that I'm getting older or if it's PMS, I don't know, but the repetitiveness of parenting can be quite frustrating. So if I've said something multiple times and then I blow, is that PMS or is it you're not listening? I don't know. So I don't know if it's PMS, but I know that I communicate with them so much. I'm that parent where I've said to them so many times, if I've done something to you, tell me. Do not write a book about me. Tell me, because I'm willing to change, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to understand where you're coming from. That line in my house, if you ask all of my kids, what will mummy say? Don't write a book about me, tell me. So I think it's, the communication and rectifying where you've gone wrong. Yeah.
Thank you, Shan. Thank you, Audrey, for answering that. Did you have the question as well at the front? Yeah.
Have you considered moving your family abroad? And also to what country? I'm hoping it's not Dubai. You know, Africa would be great. But yeah, have you ever considered moving your family abroad, and if where to basically?
Can I answer this question?
Go ahead, Nissy.
Because girl, I'm trying to leave this UK. Let's have a conversation. Myself and my husband have actually, like, you've been in our room, right? Because every other day, I'm literally having a conversation with my husband about when are we leaving this place? Because me can't do it. Me can't do it.
Tell us where you're going. So
listen, okay, so this is the plan. This is the plan. So I'm going to irritate you a little bit because Dubai has been on the radar. Just a little bit. Sorry, I'm sorry. But because opportunities and you know, they're open. And the thing is, they're open and because obviously they're trying to build their economy, they're trying to get as many people in there, they're trying to get talent. So where it's obviously easier, that was definitely a conversation. However, myself and my husband have also made it very clear that in the next 10 years, we're back home, which is Congo for us, Central Africa. The only reason that hasn't been something that we have immediately jumped at is just because of infrastructure. Unfortunately, we don't need to go into history or whatever it is, but we know what it is like back home in many of our countries. It's beautiful. It's the best experience when you go back home. But unfortunately, especially in Congo right now, the infrastructure just isn't there, you know, and I'm so grateful for like Nigeria, Ghana that are really, really showing us what needs to be happening. But Congo just isn't there yet. So definitely Congo in the next 10 years, we plan to build and grow and thrive. In between, we definitely want to do Dubai or America, or even both. And of course, I think the question that also then people start thinking is, but then you have a child, what happens if you want to have another one? I honestly, and I know Audrey, you said that you don't believe in it anymore, but I genuinely still stand by kids come into your life. Kids are okay. They're adaptable. You know, kids are not as fragile as we make them out to be. They're not as silly. Kids are very intelligent. They're very adaptable. And I honestly believe that as long as myself and my husband are good and we make a decision, we will pick up our bags and we will go. Girl, we're trying to find a way into America right now. I know it sounds crazy, but America for a couple of years, Dubai for a couple of years, then Congo completely. But yeah.
Shan, would you ever up and go? And if so, where?
Very similar to Nissy. We had Dubai and America. America, because our fan base is huge over there. And we were, work is really busy for us over there. So we were thinking, could we just move? And then, you look at America's gun control and then you think,
the gun is
do I really want to take my children there? And then also leaving your support system behind. My beautiful mum is here. She's my support system. So I think it's just finding the timing of when to do it. But Dubai and America were top two for us.
Dubai and America. Audrey, would you ever leave the UK? And if so, where?
I would love to leave the UK. But I'll be so honest, it's not something that we've really considered. Like, but if we were to move, it would definitely, most probably be Africa. But we have all, no, but we've, sis, you might want to hold the applause because we've also considered the UAE as well. Like, but only because we know so many people that are there, and I'm very much a homebody. Like I get homesick so easily. Like unless I'm surrounded by my entire family, I don't really see it for me. But you never know.
Can I just add really quickly, that I would say is the only thing that's keeping us here, our family. We have such, you know how you asked the questions about the in-laws and the cousins earlier? I picked the in-laws, you know. My in-laws are the best. I'm so sorry, I know you said same, but my in-laws are something. They have been my rock. They carried me through pregnancy, postpartum, and our son is the first nephew, first grandchild, first like child out of the siblings. So that's the only thing. Taking that away from them is the only thing that's stopping us. So, but if anyone is watching this, if America, you open the door, I'm ready. We'll take our whole family if we need to, but that's literally it.
Amazing. And yes, I'd definitely leave as well. Absolutely. To the UAE. Any other questions? I just got back 2 days ago, by the way, UAE, and the family life there, amazing. We let our kids play for like 2 hours. I didn't look back once, and they were okay. So you can't get that here. Yes, now I can go to you.
Thank you so much. This event is incredible. Like, I just feel so touched and so blessed to be here. So thank you. As really, really ambitious people, how has that shifted since becoming mums? Like, I was hell-bent on, I'm an assistant head teacher. So I was hell-bent, 25, I want to be an assistant head, and I hit that goal. And I was hell-bent by the house, and I was so tunnel vision on certain goals. And now I've become a mum, I'm like, and I didn't think this would be me. I'm in my mummy era. I'm enjoying. I just didn't think this would be me. And I'm almost a bit like, well, where's that same like passion? Where's that same vim? And I'm like, lost isn't kind of the right word, but I'm a bit like, I don't know. I was always 5-year plan, 10-year plan. I ain't got a plan. And that is just so unlike me. I think I've had a plan since I was like 12 years old. So kind of how have you guys kind of adapted your ambitions and your drive since becoming mums? Because following you guys on social media, and it's incredible it's like, I feel like I know you, but I don't. So hi. But it's like so many times I'm like, I don't actually know you. But yeah, like how has that kind of shifted since kind of being mums? How have your goals shifted? Because motherhood's an incredible blessing, and I just didn't think I'd be this person. And I'm trying to navigate. My daughter's only, she's 2 and 4 months. So I'm still trying to navigate that space. So yeah, if you've got any tips or any gems, I'd be blessed. Thank you.
Do you know what it is? I feel like sometimes when we think about ambition, we only apply it to our career. Like, you're clearly ambitious about being a mum as well. And I think that that's something that's very real. So I feel like if that has shifted a little bit, like you've taken your eye off the career a little bit and redirected it to your child, that is just as important as any career goal that you can set for yourself. And I also feel like it's okay to take breaks. There is this psychoanalyst, and she's quite controversial, but I think her name's Erica Cosiman. And she talks about sort of having to put certain goals on hold so that you can be the best parent. And obviously, like, this country in particular does not make it kind towards mums at all. So I would never judge anyone that's got to go out and get a bag to feed their kids. Like, absolutely. But she talked about how she had her career, she had children, and she kind of just reduced what she was doing a little bit. So she was still doing it, but not as intensely. So she was working sort of part-time. And I think that that's one way of like just creating some balance, or just trying to juggle both at the same time, because it is hard to give 100% to everything all of the time. So I think just to say to yourself, do you know what? I haven't necessarily put my ambitions, that I haven't halted them completely, but they're just on pause, and we can pick up when I'm not so much in this mummy bubble, or when your child's a little bit older and they're a bit more independent and they don't need you as much. Because one thing I have learned since I had my daughter is that time goes so fast. And one of the things that people used to say is like, it goes so fast, and that used to annoy me. You know, like when people say, what's the most annoying piece of advice? It used to be, it goes so fast, and sleep when the baby sleeps. Oh my God, leave me alone. Like, that was so annoying. But honestly, now that she is, she's going to be 2 in September, 4 months as well, I've realised that actually I really do want to cherish every single moment with her. And if that means that some things have got to take a back seat, then we revisit later. So yeah, it's just about realigning what's important at the time. Yeah.
I think it's similar to Audrey. Sorry. similar to Audrey, I know my followers, I must get on your nerves if you follow me, because I will just go ghost. Once I feel like I'm burnt out and I've given so much to work, I'm just like my kids. I just want to be in that bubble. My oldest is 16 and I still want to be in the bubble with her, you know? So I feel like, I think I've done things backwards from where I was in the mummy bubble for so long, and now I'm like, work. But then in all honesty, I know how to take a break. I will be gone.
It's true.
And it's like, Shan, where are you? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just literally doing my other job. And that is not for me to perform it online sometimes. It just is me to be mummy, and that's it. So I think balance, a lot of balance comes in.
Do you know what? I think both of what you guys said is absolutely amazing, but I just wanted to add, do you know something that I hate about our society? Is that we make motherhood as though it's lesser than an ambitious career or a job. And I despise that. As someone, I'm just a mum, or I'm not doing. Do you know the amount of women I've even had that have come up to me and that are like, oh my gosh, like not necessarily here, but in other places where I get to connect with women, and they're like, oh, but I just feel like you're doing this and you're doing that and you're whatever. And again, what you're seeing on social media, you're doing all of these things, but I'm just a mum. I hate that with a passion, because one thing that we have done is we've robbed women of understanding that is the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful things, that if you are blessed with the chance to do it, it is okay for you to say, I do not want to do something else and I want to focus on being a mum. There is so much beauty in being a mum. You are quite literally raising up the next generation of people, the next generations of leaders and politicians and doctors and lawyers. Like, please don't take that lightly, guys. So the first thing that I want to say to anyone that's ambitious, and that's why earlier I mentioned the fact that, you know, I recognize the season that I'm in right now. I've gone ham and I've gone hard for years. I remember there were times where I'll be at Cambridge and I'm editing videos at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure you're probably familiar with this, guys. You're editing content at 3 o'clock in the morning, or you're doing whatever. I technically can't do that right now, because I need to be alert and okay for my child. Are there some days where I have sleepless nights? Absolutely. Are there some days where I've only had 2 hours of sleep or 3 hours? Absolutely. But I also don't beat myself up for the fact that I'm not as raw as I was before. I don't know how else to describe it, but not as like, you know, as aggressive as I was before, because now I recognize that God has blessed me with something else, and this too is a ministry. This too is something that is impacting generations to come. So that's the first thing that I would say. Wherever there's guilt, and not just for yourself, because you didn't say anything about guilt, but just in case anyone in the room feels guilty, like, oh, but I should be more ambitious, I should be doing more, please give yourself a damn break. Like, you are a mother. You birthed life into this world. Can you understand that you are one of the most powerful beings on this planet? The fact that your body went through all of that stuff, and then you gave birth, and then you're dealing with postpartum. Guys, we are you don't even understand who we are. If you understood your power, you would give yourself the grace to be like, do you know what? I cannot do everything all at one time, and it is okay. So I just really wanted to echo that, because it really frustrates me, like when people act as though like being a mom, oh, but I'm just. Some women didn't make it out of childbirth, just. Some women aren't even able to have the blessing of even having a child, but you're saying just. Please, let's be mindful, guys. Be mindful, be wary. But anyway, sorry.
Wow.
I had to say that. I had to.
That was a word. That was
Sorry,
a word.
y'all.
Don't apologize again, Nissy. That was a word. Okay, we're going to have 2 more questions.
I'm a vice president for a private bank, and they recently just told us to come into the office 5 days a week. So since they said that, I'm like, okay, I've blocked out my diary from 9, no meetings at 9, no meetings from 4:30. But I just wanted to ask you guys, what boundaries have you set yourselves since becoming a mother, and how have you like put your foot down to ensure those boundaries aren't overstepped? Thank you.
That is a good question. What boundaries?
This is a hard one.
I'm trying to think.
Who wants to answer this question? Let's just throw it out there. Boundaries.
Boundaries, I would say, is not allowing other people tell me what they think I should be doing, because you know yourself best. And you know, I think gut instinct is so underrated. When your gut is telling you something, it's not like, might take a little leaf out of your book. That's God talking to you that this is not for you. So you really need to follow your instincts. Sometimes you ignore it, and then you go and you think to yourself, oh my God, I knew it. follow the gut instinct that's telling you this is not comfortable. I need to stop. And if it does work, if it does turn out that, oh, maybe you should have done it, then it is what it is. What's for you is not going to pass you, you know? So just, I'd say go with your gut instinct. If someone is telling you to do more than what you know is not comfortable for you, you need to back up a little bit. That's what I'd say.
Thank you so much, Shan. And then the final question that I'm going to ask you guys is if you could share with the audience sort of one takeaway, one advice, one tip on how to manage and live your best motherhood life, what would that be?
I would say that you know you and your family set up better than anybody. And I feel like sometimes people will try and infiltrate that. People will try and push boundaries. They will try and push more out of you because people want to weaponize this guilt that we have sometimes, or people want to push boundaries as far as they can to get things out of you that you're not physically able to get. So I really do think that the boundary thing is super important. I know we talk about it so often, but I think it's important that we always reinforce that point about just being firm in what you know works for you and your family setup, your mental health, whatever it is. So yeah, definitely listen to your instinct, listen to your gut, and don't let people trick you out of your position. At the end of the day, if you know that this is what you need to do in order for your family to be good, in order for your work-life balance to be good, then you have to affirm yourself in that. Because oftentimes people will proper try you. Like, that's one thing I've realized. And like, even if it means, like, for me, it's been like literally turning down like paid opportunities. Like, and I do it often because if it's not going to make sense for me and you want me to overextend myself, yet all you've got to do is maybe book me a car to get there and get back. Or you've got to, I don't know, pay me the same as what you're paying a white guy. I don't know, whatever it is. But you just literally have to stand on business sometimes and not be afraid to do that, especially as Black women. Because I feel like we have that constant thing over our head of we want to be nice, we want to be kind, we don't want to live up to a certain stereotype. We want to beat the stereotype. But sometimes you've got to be the stereotype. If you've got to be angry, be angry. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we don't want to be called that, but we're also human and it's very much an emotion. And if you have to express it. So, yeah.
My advice is do not forget yourself in the process, because I know as mothers, you're thinking of everybody else. Is everyone okay? Has this person got that? What about you? Don't forget, because I think it's so easy to get lost in the source of motherhood. And then before you realize it, you're just like, wait, what do I enjoy again? What do I like doing? Where do I like to go? As far as even what music do I even like listening to? Because you're always listening to Cocomelon or whatever it is. Yeah. So it's hard not to forget who you are. Just make time for yourself. It's not selfish if you want to leave for an hour or two and go get your nails done, go get your eyebrows done. Whatever makes you feel good, go and do it. You're allowed to leave. Mm-hmm. Leave them for a little bit and enjoy yourself and remember yourself.
Yep.
You know, as soon as you said that, all I could hear was, I like to eat apples and bananas. We got moms. Literally, I was like, Lord Jesus, let's see. I'm a real mom now, guys. I'm actually a mother.
No, the real banger is pasta everywhere. That's Cocomelon. Oh my God.
No, I don't watch that one. But no.
I love it.
Honestly, guys, as soon as you said the songs, I said, Jesus, it's true. What do I listen to? What do I listen to? But no, you know what? I'm going to kind of touch on a little bit of what I kind of mentioned earlier. Create the version of motherhood that works for you. Don't let anyone else define that for you. I think, again, that's something that I talk about in my ebook, just plugging it again so you guys can go and get it. Preparing, or the journey to motherhood. But I spoke about the fact that I came to a point, I think, where I found peace in becoming a mum was me realizing that I didn't have to be the type of mum that I had seen previously, which unfortunately was very much like I give my everything, my soul, my every existence to my child. And then you're looking at the person and literally it's like there's nothing in their eyes. And that was also part of the reason why I was so scared to become a mum in the first place. I didn't want to lose myself. I didn't want to lose my, as people say, that spark, you know? But create the version of motherhood that works for you. If you want to be the boss babe that wears the suit, which this is my own suit, by the way, the Powerwear collection. Oh, no, I'm shameless plug, by the way. Go and buy. I have my own suit line, ladies, for all my boss babes is out there. Go check it out. Especially made for my tall and curvy girls, just saying. Well, it's okay. So yeah, we'll do the petite. Yeah, you see, girl, I'm a fit girl, so I just wanted us. Oh, yeah, no, length. Because you know the issue is as tall girls, you be wearing suit and then the trouser is here. Why? Anyway, let me go back to the point. Focus, guys, focus. But no, if you decide that you are going to be that boss babe and run a £1 million business or £1 trillion business, because you can, and you want to be a mum and you want to do whatever it is, like me, I went back to work 6 weeks after I gave birth. That was a decision for me. If you decide that you're going to take a pause from everything else in life because you just want to bask in this beautiful moment, do it. Create the version of motherhood that works for you. Don't let anyone tell you any different. And the final thing I'll say, ladies, I'm sorry, I'm going to take it to church one more time if it's okay. Go and read Proverbs 31. Because I think the only thing that we ever pick up from Proverbs 31 is she is clothed with dignity and strength. That's fantastic and we thank God for it, right? But if you read the entire chapter, I know that not everyone is a Christian in here, but just for those that are, go and read your Bible, open up Proverbs 31, and you will see how God describes this wonderful woman. He describes her as the woman that goes and looks for a field that she might buy with her own earnings, not anybody else's money, her own money, which means that she's an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. It says that her family love her and respect her. I'm just paraphrasing here. It says that her husband is respected because people see the value that she brings. It says that she makes clothes that she sells herself. She says that her kids call her blessed. So this woman is so multifaceted and so multidimensional. She's the boss babe, she's the mum, she's the cook, she's this, she's that. And you know what? She is graced to do it. You are graced, ladies, to do every single part of it. That's it.
Oh, wow. Girl.
Nissy took us to... Told you she's a pastor, guys. I told you. Told you.
You're amazing.
Can we have a round of applause for our fantastic... Wow. Weren't they just amazing? They literally shared everything and left no crumbs left unturned. So thank you guys. And thank you all for being here today as well. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for getting involved, for talking, for sharing, for listening. Please make sure you get involved. Thank Meta again for hosting us today. Look, Black mothers in Meta. Like, I love that. Thank you, Patrick, Michael, Tobias, Lolade for making sure that this is a smooth event, and my team. And wait, one more thing, guys. You know I like selfies, so on the count of 3, can you guys say Motherhood Group, please? Or no, the Motherhood Group, yeah? All right, let me stand here. 3, 2, 1. The Motherhood Group! Yay.